that's nice and cheeky, and it's like, yeah, I'm going to showcase this. This is beautiful. It gets done. But I do think that same Nidus spot that Reynar did utilize is a very good drop spot to be between the bases, depending on where you want to go. Spawning over in the bottom hand side as the blue Terran is MilkiCow.
Top left, our red Protoss player is going to be DnS.
What would you give the name MilkiCow out of 10 as far as nicknames go?
Oh, 10. Easily. That's a 10 out of 10 nickname. It's descriptive. It's accurate. It's factual. Cows are, in fact, milky.
Well, not the male ones.
But sure, but we can generalize, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sure.
If you think of a cow, and I say milky, do you think? Well, only the women. Like, surely not. No.
I mean, I don't know.
I think of cows. I think of milk. I don't know what to say.
When I think of cows, I think of the animal.
Well, I actually don't know what I think of when I think of a cow. Like, I don't know if milk comes to mind, but if you say cow and milk, I'm like, I'm not looking at you like you're speaking a different language, you know?
No. I'm just, you know, I don't know why. When I saw that, I thought of Ratata. Like, and I thought,
well, everything makes you think of Ratata.
I just, you know, I don't know. I just want to know what your thoughts are.
What's your opinion on the name MilkiCow out of 10?
10. I'll give it a 6.
A 6? Okay.
Well, if let's say, you know, you I'm just thinking, you bring a girl home or a boy home, whatever, and you're like, hey, what's your gamer tag? And they tell me it's MilkiCow. I'm not thinking, oh, I've got a right one here. Like, I'm thinking, what the hell were you thinking? You know?
Is that how you rate your dates? The gamer tag?
I mean, if they've got a terrible gamer tag, I'm out of here. You know, this is a red flag straight away. So I think MilkiCow would definitely come pretty high on my red flag radar. And Ratata, to be fair, that's.
I feel like a lot of gamer tags are gonna give you red flags if that's how we're discussing them.
Absolutely. Like, you know, I to be fair, there's some that are really damn cool. Like, when you say it, you're just like, frick, yeah, but I'm just waiting for Pidgey to show up. Like, terrible.
I'm gonna make an account called Pidgey and just get real high on ladder, just to make you feel the pain. No respect.
You really will. You really will.
Yeah, man. Finally, some motivation to grind again.
That's your motivation. All right. So MilkiCow did get a scout going off. Did he get to see the tech exactly? Yeah, he did exactly. So he gets to know that it is indeed a Stargate opening. Does have a Hellion out on the map as well. Cyclone being made. He's doing all the good stuff, isn't he? To deal with what is most likely either an Oracle or a Phoenix out of that Stargate. Not going to be a Void Ray because, you know, that's ridiculous. But yeah.
Yeah. Phoenix already showing up and is just going to utilize its ability to get across the map to actually scout this Hellion. Ooh. Potential for damage. He's going to get 1. He's going to get 2 kills. He's going to get 3 kills. No? Oh, he got it. He got it. Legendary Hellion.
That was great, man. That was absolutely fabulous. So he's already got a good 4 probes for his troubles. This Phoenix as well has been damaged. I guess that was just happening against most likely the Cyclone, right? And MilkiCow taking a very early third here in his natural. Gorgeous play out of MilkiCow so far. I like what I'm saying, and I've seen MilkiCow in the past as well, where it's like he will start nuking Protoss and going full late game and making it look really awesome. He's one of these players that I do look out just to hope that, you know, the stars align for him at some point, because he is an exciting little Terran.
Oh no, I'm with you, man. Like, MilkiCow's also been the player who's been in so many of these regionals, but it's just always seems to struggle to like get going. Like, he qualifies consistently, But once he's qualified, it feels like he never gets like a good bracket, or like, I mean, he dropped 0-7 a few times when we had those bigger bigger round robin groups. He's just not had a good run once he gets here. And yeah, I feel like the potential is there. I see him, you know, challenging these top guys and absolutely having good games. I feel like he should be able to do more than what he's shown us in these events, and I'd love to see him have one more chance. I mean, it's got like, you want to see both these guys have one more chance. DnS, he's been around a long time. He's been playing in my events for forever as well. So, yeah, that's rough that these two have to play each other. Why do these two have to play each other for knockout ban? It's not fair.
At some point, you have to run into the MilkiCow, man, whether you like it or not. Oh, that's a great snipe there. Focus firing that low health Phoenix.
Yep. And then run down.
Yep.
Okay, this one wasn't my fault. I was distracted by touchdown. And also,
really?
that wasn't just a yep and a stop. This was a yep, and I was about to continue talking, but then you were just already like yep on your own side. So.
I love it, man. You know, these long days. It's like, hey, man, you get 4-minute break here. 12 best of threes. Let's go. Of course, we're gonna get a little bit silly, eh?
I love getting a bit
Yeah,
loopy at
in
the
one
end of the
another.
cast. It is
I
crazy.
just hope
Like, the feeling at the
I
start
hope
or
you get-
at the end.
Yeah, I hope your other caster combos get yepped. I hope it happens to you, Audie.
What, they yep me?
Yeah, I hope it, man.
Well, I wouldn't care if they did. Sometimes it's just like that, you know.
I will never forget talking about max packs for a good. And granted, I was yapping. I was talking a long time, but then it went up to you. The pause, the famous Wardy pause. Then, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was it.
That one was brutal though. Like you talked for about an eternity. And by the time we were done, I was like, I've got no idea what you said. You lost me 2 minutes ago. So I was just like, yeah, oh sure. That was a long ass day as well, man. That was tiring.
That was a long day, man. It really was.
and then you're like, that's all you're gonna give me? Yeah, that is all I was gonna give you.
Alrighty. So both these players, they get into a middle stage of the game here. So it was Phoenix Colossus. And so far, the amount of robo units that have come out for DnS, it's almost more than the gateway units at this point in time. He's been very, very committed to very high-tech army. And the Phoenix, they've been trying to get done what they can. I do like MilkiCow's position overall. Like, he's 1-1 upgrades. He's still waiting on getting the Ghosts out and whatnot, but going for the Ghost Academy before the Armory always feels like a good choice. In my eyes, it's just, or I say that. There is an Armory, but getting the Ghosts out before the second tier of upgrades is a nice one, I think. It is what I tend to see a lot of the tip-top Terrans go for.
It is the style now, right? Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It just feels so good to have those EMPs. Like, what's better? An upgrade that does, like, +1 damage, or an EMP that removes half the Protoss' health? Probably the Ghost. Like, you know, I think I can agree the EMP is pretty darn powerful. So yeah, but getting into those EMPs, I mean, it's just so useful as well, because sometimes then you can actually target down units, because you get the shields off them so quickly, you remove force fields or just energy. It's just so nice to have those available, so yeah, prioritizing that is nice. Meanwhile, you see, I mean, starting to already see the expansion pattern looking funky here as well. Whoa, Phoenix, you do not want to do that.
Yeah, he's not going for that back one that's further away, and it is tricky. Like, this map isn't so linear as where you want to be exactly, and getting a few Phoenix early on is a big deal. Like, those are your protection for your Colossus when you go for this kind of unit comp, and as that Viking count, oh, picking off a Ghost. Oh, he can. Okay. Oh my goodness, that was big committal. Big committal.
Yeah, big committal, didn't get that one, but you know what? I like the idea of it, right? Getting rid of the Ghosts is huge. I mean, they're expensive. Still haven't started 2-2, by the way. At this point, I kind of did expect 2-2 to be starting from the Terran player, so kind of surprised that has not happened. As the Bio steps in, a couple Zealots go down. Phoenix is going to go join up with everything else. And a few more barracks continue up as well. I guess we are just kind of waiting for the players to really want to attack into one another, but it's going to take a little while. We now lose the Siege Tank. Nice save from MilkiCow, and the Phoenix is going to chase. We're now going to try and kill the Phoenix off. We successfully get rid of one.
Yeah, that was nice little trades there for MilkiCow. Like, this is getting to a stage in the game that you're either ready for or you're not, you know? Like Terran players, we've seen players like Clem that are really damn solid at it. They'll do all the juking and jiving against the disruptors. Right now, the fact that he made that armory, kind of funny that he hasn't utilized it at all. Like, he's got a scary squad here. Let's count here. We've got... In fact, the Viking number's really low. He's totally banking on dealing with these Colossus in a different kind of way. The tanks, nicely placed on that low ground, getting some big shots on those Blink Stalkers over there.
Yep. Well, I mean, the positioning is nice, and it kind of makes me intrigued to kind of see that this was the base of choice for DnS in the first place. Like, it feels like it's so abusable with tanks, and so, like, okay, the Terran maybe can't move their whole army through, but it feels like they can get a lot of positions set up. Meanwhile, the attempted prism play in the main base is going to be going down, but MilkiCow is also going to get to the upper right. He's going to get rid of that location, and that's going to be DnS kept on 4 bases, and I think this is the first time I've actually seen 2 players expand in this way against each other. Like, I've seen this expansion pattern from one player before, but usually the other guy goes the other way. But, yeah, seeing them both expand like this is kind of funky.
This is... Oh, a decent disruptor hit to start things off. The second one, not quite, but MilkiCow going for the... Well, he was going to go for the sandwich there, but I didn't like the attempt. That was a lot... It's not that many Marauders in the mix just yet, so this army not able to withstand against the Colossus as well as it might like, but that base is a little bit open to this drop. There is a lot of Zealots running south here, and they're going to get shelled by these tanks on the low ground. DnS feeling like he's going to send it over here. 5 tanks, that's a massive deal, though, and he has to be so careful. They're in such a little nook here. It's actually so hard, like, not finding out those minerals, very difficult.
I'm going to call that siege tank cranny or something, mate. That is a beautiful spot for the tanks just to camp in, as you are going to see the Bioforce coming around up the right side. Another position they can try and take. I mean, we don't really reach many of the minerals there, maybe like one corner. As the Bio army is actually going to get cornered in. We're going to decide to fight this here as DnS. So he's going to come through. The disruptors get blasted initially, but then they do get some blasts off on the tanks. I mean, it's a combination of everything. People are dying on both sides of this war.
Mate, that was an absolute box art fight, that was. And box art if you're a Terran fan, not if you're a Protoss one. Those units got massively clumped up going down that ramp, and MilkiCow takes a massive victory over here. In this 4th base of DnS, MilkiCow's just exploiting how vulnerable it is against a unit like a tank. Even the Warpin's dying. Somewhere out there, Drogo is saying... So, do you remember that clip of Drogo, by the way, where one Widowmine kills like 4 Stalkers?
Yeah, and he face palms.
Dude, that's like one of my favorite clips of all time. And then he walks in 2 more. And he dies to another Widowmine. Oh, it's so fantastic. All right, DnS does hold. That's pretty amazing by him, honestly.
That Drogo clip is actually an all-time clip. Didn't he, like, lose something to the same Widowmine, and then he warped in 4 Stalkers on top of it after? Like, it was so stupid. It was so good.
No, so I remember it so vividly.
Yeah,
so
he just lost 2 more after.
Yeah, so he rapid fires in 4 Stalkers, and a Widowmine goes off on them, and because they're not full health, they're warping in. He loses all 4. So it's like, I lost 4 Stalkers to 1 Widowmine, you know? And then he warps in 2 more, and another Widowmine that he didn't see kills those, and he just goes... It's a great clip. Oh my god, it's so good.
Amazing. DTs continue to come around, causing trouble, just trying to find ways to mineralize. There's a warping into the Terran main base as well, so DnS keeping the action up over there. I'm not sure his main army in the middle of the map really has much justification to be out there. Like, it feels pretty bare bones right now. But he doesn't go, like, running into a fight. He just takes a little bit of a position and looks to see what he can do.
Yeah, this Warp Prism has been really annoying. I wonder if this is, like, the same one from earlier that's just not being cleaned up. Like, DnS... He's not playing like a guy that's got, you know, a 40 supply deficit right now. He's playing like he's in control of the game. He's in good shape, but MilkiCow, he's ready for this pounce. And that army, that main one, does not look that scary from the Protoss.
Nope. Not really. It's that's the thing. Like, I'm looking at the army in the center. I'm like, surely you can't do anything with that. But if it's just a threat to kind of keep you, a few units over there, so that the rest of this kind of drop play can work, then I'm kind of okay with that, because I think that's actually very smart from DnS. Problem is the prism is gone. MilkiCow is closing in on, maxing out, and I don't think there's any reason he's going to necessarily hold back, especially once Liberange is done. I think he's going to be very happy to start moving across the map. If not, obviously before then, gets that disruptor as well. Nicely done, and again, this army can't stand up for itself at all.
No, it really can't. Like, MilkiCow, he's in control of this game, isn't he? He really is. And he's got scans going on. There's a lot of DTs, though. They are a hit squad and a half, you know. They really are. And MilkiCow, he's gunning for it. DnS, he pops a shield battery overcharge. It's in a good spot, but does get taken out pretty damn quickly. DTs are greeted by a PF in the bottom right, but those SCVs have to get on out of there. And MilkiCow is going to start winning out in this main fight over here, but tell you what, big losses on both sides.
Yeah, he just needs a bit more bio, and I think he really does just keep pushing through. The Liberators work, but they're not always like exactly in position. Obviously, this this DT force is going to be causing some distractions too. And we get into another mineral line. 20 SCVs have gone down. This orbital commander is about to burn to the ground as well. The rest of the bio continues to hang about there, and we do have ourselves another base going down. MilkiCow is bleeding out bases right now. DnS is absolutely going to swing. He's swung the supply around. Yeah, I mean, no workers left for MilkiCow. A bunch of orbitals, yes, but I mean, DnS starts to deal with the big army.
He does, but I tell you what a swing of things, because I felt that MilkiCow was very much in control of this game, but that little holiday squad of DTs over there, they went through all sorts of trouble to deal that damage, but they did it, and all of a sudden, you're talking about like 50 SCVs dying in a good minute.
What a crazy turnaround this could be, as DnS is giving himself some hope again. I think MilkiCow needs to slow it down a second, right? Clean up the, get some of his bases finished, get them relocated, get back on track. Problem is now DnS is attacking with a large army down the bottom right side. He's not going to find a new base here. He's going to find a building base, so can get a cancel on that. And it looks as though we're going to keep pushing through. All those Liberators just unsieged. Don't think DnS really saw it in time to jump on them. He could actually jump past the liberation zones and just get rid of a bunch of them here for free. This is horrible for MilkiCow. He's losing so many libs. He unsieges the ones that are going to die anyways. And now this base is in trouble. His bio army in the center has to pull back home. But, I mean, this Protoss army can just run.
It really can. And, there's going to be Terrans in the chat that are like, goddamn Protoss, and there's going to be Protoss in the chat that are like, man, this is beautiful. Like, because I tell you what, DnS has more than got himself back into this game. This was really, really good out of him. Proper clutch, because MilkiCow is in all sorts of trouble, as my good friend Kevin would say. And how does he get back into it? I don't know, man, because DnS is just juking and jiving all over the shop and doesn't really want to take a direct engagement. I say that as, okay, he does back off. Thank you, DnS, for not making me look like a klutz. All right, Colossus in the mix here. Has to be a little bit careful, because that Terran army does pack a punch.
Yep. Because the shell's setting up, just going to be seeing the SCVs coming through as well, so we're trying to rebuild that economy. But DnS's army supply is back on track, man. So it is back on track and looking good. There's a couple more Colossi popping, and this army of MilkiCow is going to settle down again, sure, but DnS is right back in this game. He's up to 6 bases because he's taking the one on the left side now as well, so he is looking better than ever before. But I love this drop from MilkiCow. There's been no action up the left side into that main base, so this is a great time to just abuse something that's not being utilized at all game, and it could be the thing that maybe swings this back in his favor a little bit as well.
No, I mean... DnS doesn't have a hell of a lot of supply to just warp in with, so he does respect it. That's a big recall, by the way. That is huge, and it's just as the main army of MilkiCow shows up. I mean, this is as good a moment forever for MilkiCow, and he is making the most of it, like supplies again. Neck and neck, drops over, back in. MilkiCow.
What a move that is. Just relocates, abuses the Protoss having to run one way or recall one way, then run back the other. Nothing to deal with Colossi, though, and that is 4 of them waiting to pounce on this army, so the splash damage will add up. So now we're going to lift up. Now there's no recall. We could go boost towards the main base. Go! Run! The Colossi go off the rocks. That's not going to help you. That's not going to do anything at all. Warp into the main, though, and that should be enough. The Stalkers, well, we're just going to fly into it. MilkiCow has no fear. The emptier Medivacs actually went down first, so he has potential to deal damage as he drops in. He will start a fight, and, well, DnS is only just now running the rest of the army back around to deal with this. There's so much time here for MilkiCow to abuse this.
Oh, and it takes such a long time to get back to this base, doesn't it? Like, he has to blink over the wall, get back into the main, and I mean, he is going to clean it up, but MilkiCow is a warrior over here, definitely making DnS work for it, and I mean, this game's been very back and forth.
Yep. Very back and forth. Very back and forth, Ben.
You yapped me.
Yeah. You're gonna keep doing it, mate. I purposely do it. I'm now adding a couple seconds before I say it as well, just to keep you in pit when waiting.
You're terrible, Woody. You're terrible. Alrighty.
Yep. I'm terrible.
MilkiCow setting himself up here. I mean, this has actually been a really good game. Like, these guys are very nicely matched here.
It's been a great game. Back and forth, swings, roundabouts. And honestly, right now, kind of anyone's for the takings. I think MilkiCow obviously has the lib setup, which is great. If you don't attack, if you attack away from the libs, I think DnS wins. The Colossi are just too strong, but the libs are really hard to attack into, so I don't see why DnS would do that. So I imagine that's a factor.
Yeah, MilkiCow isn't making Vikings against Colossus either, which is kind of interesting. Really, like, prioritizing getting the libs out. And, you know, I've been there. The libs are just so good when they get +2, and the Vikings, you feel like they're so flimsy against the Stalkers. But big fight happening. DnS just marching on in there. And, yeah, those Colossus, man, there's not really much to deal with them besides Liberators being in the right positions, or a big flank, obviously.
Yep. Well, I see a couple of Zealots heading up into the main base. We are going to have Colossi again, lasering away from afar. Another Liberator gets siege. Bio tries to jump through. Stalkers, Colossi taking some shots right there. And we are going to have DnS still trying to find a direction. A couple of the Zealots is going to go through. He's going to go grab the bunker. Widowmines will play the cleanup on the defense. DnS looks to get into the front. And we are going to see a few Marines going down. Libs continuing to get set up. And that Nexus is about to finish from DnS, so that's going to be another base for him to work with. I think the setup from DnS is almost too good for MilkiCow to break through. It's really dependent on these Liberators, but he jumps on them before they're ready to go. The Colossi will laser down so much of the bio in the background, but the Liberators are shredding the Stalkers, but then the Zealots are there as well, and that's going to be good enough. It is good enough indeed for DnS, who takes game number 1 of this best of 3. Great game.
All he needed was a DT run by, which did killed 3 PFs and 48 workers, you know, to get back into it. Just the little things, you know, Wardy. Just the little things.
Just the little things. We get ourselves hopping into game 2 here in just a second. So second game coming up in a moment or so. Get this underway and we'll be able to go into our second map of this.
Ghost River. Wow, they're all about the new maps here. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm down for it, man. Like, the new maps have been pretty darn good. We've been seeing some pretty good games from them, so excited to see another one coming up right now as we kick off into, this as soon as these guys are ready. Sorry, I lost track of things for a second, but yeah, we are all in the lobby, so we are going. And DnS looks to make himself, well, survive another round of this Swiss group stage, whereas MilkiCow looks to force us into a game 3. As, yeah, I mean, MilkiCow obviously made it difficult. I think MilkiCow absolutely had himself the advantage. But then DnS turned around those DTs, and that moment where he just kills 50 workers, God, what a turning point.
Really was. Like, that well, obviously got DnS the win, I think, in this game. Like, because DnS was, I think, super dead. I really do. And, I mean, I think most people would probably agree. Just not a lot was going right for him, and MilkiCow with all those positions, like the 5 tank army as well, it was actually the perfect army to have against such quick disruptors from DnS. So a nice choice by him, and all those little nooks that he utilized as well just went about as good as it could. Spawning here in the top left, as our red Protoss, it is DnS.
Taking on our blue Terran in the upper right hand side, it is MilkiCow.
One thing that in those chaotic situations, because it kind of didn't feel like a super normal game, but having just a couple of Liberators on a PF can make the world of difference in those DT situations, right? Like,
yeah, they just shoot them down so
those
quickly,
extra
right?
shows off. Yeah, I mean,
or at least
really
make them pay. You know, because then at least you get rid of some DTs. It's actually a cost for the Protoss. You know, make them feel the risk.
Yeah, make them pay, Wardy. Make them pay for their absolute troublemaking, invisible butts.
Twitch chat is loving the yap, man.
They are?
Yeah, everyone's just yapping.
Yep.
Okay, you know what? I might just make it my new catchphrase. I really agree with someone. Yep.
I mean, it's not even your new catchphrase. You yep me all the time.
But you know what it is? I don't do this to everyone, though. And it's clearly just because I think you really just say a lot of what I want to say, which is not a bad thing at all. Like, you know, sometimes you just really round out the point really well. So I'm just like, cool. It's not like when I'm casting with Roddy and he has no clue what he's on about, and I have to, you know, fix up what he's saying, right?
Yeah, there's like a TVT or a CVC or, you know, TVC, and it's like, Roddy, do you want to cast it? He's like, I don't freaking clue, man. I'm kidding, Kevin, I'm kidding. Alrighty. I mean, I do tend to say a few words a lot, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, you just summarize points really well.
This is where you reply with absolutely, and it's like, yeah, I know.
Maybe I'll
I
spice
love
up
these
for you,
long
but-
days.
Yeah, man. To be fair, I didn't yep you for the first, like, you know, half of the day, I think. It was really the later on though. Maybe once.
I think. No, you've definitely
no
yapped me.
There's no way.
Oh,
I refuse to believe it.
100%. Like, I'm just. Okay, do you know what I'm waiting for, Twitch chat? I'm waiting for. Any of you guys remember that montage that somebody made of, I think it was JP and Day 9, where they casted together, and JP was a little bit of a fanboy of Day 9? I think he said Sean, like he said his name Sean, like, I think no lie, it was like 200 times in the space of like 10 minutes or something. Like, it was every sentence he would end, it would be like, Sean, and somebody made a little montage and put it all together. I think somebody should get you yepping, you know? Because there's
montage.
so freaking many. Yeah!
Okay. I'm down.
It's gonna make a montage.
Cyclones and a medevac. MilkiCow wants to get a bit aggressive, Ben.
If he... Did I yep you?
Oh, you
Oh,
me.
I yoded you, yeah.
You yoded me.
What can I say, man? These things happen.
All good, mate. Yeah, but this is obviously a fun opening because you're going to try and put on some pressure. It's against that Stargate as well, so I always feel like, you know, we talked about this earlier. Cyclones, Marines, always good when a Stargate is up. We're actually going to lock onto this Oracle. We're actually going to stay locked onto this Oracle. We're going to kill it. Huge opening from MilkiCow in the start of this game, and now he's free to go across the map with everything.
That is actually huge, because, like, Cyclones, it's not a unit that you really want against Protoss unless they're going for Stargate, but he has timed it so nicely, and maybe he's got a little bit of a read on DNS, maybe he knows far more about him than I do. But yeah, Cyclones against this is awesome.
Yep. Well, we have ourselves the Marines and the Cyclones. See, okay, I said yep there, now I'm like second guessing myself because that was just my way to transition because I'm ready to talk. Oh my god. Hellions in the main base, so it is going to be disaster across the board for DNS. MilkiCow sets this up beautifully. He's going to get a good few pros before those Phoenix play cleanup, and this really is nice. He's going to get 6 workers here, still pressuring at the front as well. Units at the front can't really do much. The Adepts try and come forward. They get locked onto. They'll get pushed back. More Cyclones, and that makes it very difficult for the Phoenix to really be the answer to this. Super Battery pops up. Yeah, we can just fight the Gateway and just kill that off. Get rid of production. That kind of works out as well. The Viking lands. Actually allows it to be saved by the medevac. Cute micro by MilkiCow. Love it.
It is really nice, but whether he gets away with this or not, because I mean that is still a scary Protoss army that he has to deal with. I think he was looking for more, but you're right, he did micro very nicely.
Very nice micro, and it just allows him to just maintain an extra unit or two. Now we fall back. MilkiCow will be back onto a couple more barracks production. The engineering bays are coming up as well. Cyclones will be there to push the Phoenix away, so again, that's the benefit of having kept the Cyclones alive throughout this. And now DNS gets to put the third base down, but this feels like later than he would have wanted to. Is on the way to that Robo Bay to try and stay teched up.
Yep. I can't help it. All right. By the way, the Liberator choice here from MilkiCow, that's wild, man. Like, he is against Phoenix, of all things, and it's like he wants to sneak out a Liberator to get across the map and slow things down. If he gets away with it, that could absolutely do a good job of that, but definitely a risky play, especially given that he's 0-1 down, and yeah.
Well, with the 1-1 coming through...
Oh, did you stop yourself?
No, I was actually just thinking about what to say. This time I didn't yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Is this just gonna be like a psychoanalysis every time I say it? It's like, wait, what are you about to say?
yeah. I felt it, man. I felt it.
You felt it? You just feel it all the time now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh, I was gonna go for absolutely again.
Absolutely.
Freaking A. I'm done.
Well, Stimpag is about to be finished here from MilkiCow. Just knocked down a Phoenix. Honestly, still a pretty scary army to push with until I guess a Colossus pops out. Colossus is a pretty good stopping point on this. So that is definitely one thing we can look to.
Yeah, the problem for MilkiCow is the fact that he's got Stim for like 10 bio units. Like, it's not enough. Like, I really think a lot of this build, he wanted more to happen earlier on. And he's feeling the pressure a lot. Like, that's a healthy number of Cyclones, but they'll do good with the first lock on. The switcheroos are obviously a little bit problematic, but DnS, I think he's getting himself into a situation that he really, really likes, you know?
I do think he's very happy with where he is at as long as he can keep on defending. And it's definitely getting there. The Phoenix going to come across this. Medevac doesn't do anything. Whoa, it takes a weird turn, which means that it stays in the base. Just didn't think you could get it away from the Phoenix, so that just goes down. It's a little bonus pickup then from DnS. And MilkiCow is absolutely losing any kind of momentum he might have gained off the early push, so as Extended Thermal Land starts up, DnS is able to kind of get those Colossi into a better position. And yeah, I'm with you. I think he is absolutely going to be feeling this as even as Liberator gets chased down by the Phoenix. Nice to get rid of that potential future harassment.
It really is. And like the Phoenix, they're where they want to be. They don't want to be on the defense necessarily, like shutting down Liberators and Medevac players, all well and good. Oh, that's not where they want to be though. Those Cyclones are doing their job this game of just making these Phoenix really work for it. But DnS, he's probably thinking about a fourth base kind of soon. He's getting good upgrades online, and that is a gateway explosion if I've ever seen one. He's on 2 gates currently, going up to 9 very soon.
It is interesting because, as you mentioned, the fourth base, we talked about this a lot yesterday, I think, where the fourth base is away from the opponent, so it's actually getting to the point where it's now safer to expand than the third base was. So you put that down, and again, with the army getting the tech up, the Phoenix Colossus combination in general, I think DnS across the board is extremely safe. So it's very hard for MilkiCow to push through and be aggressive. And MilkiCow as a player, he really loves to just play lots of bio, lots of drops, like action everywhere, and just be aggressive. And I feel like he's already going to be forced into that later stage again, which is kind of what happened last game, right? He ended up in that later stage, and while he played a good game, I don't think it's where he's most comfortable, and that might be part of the reason why DnS was able to find so much damage and find a way back into a game that was looking so brutal for him otherwise.
Definitely. This game, it's starting to get to a point where I think both of them are where they don't mind being. Like, MilkiCow does have that inner spirit where he can kind of draw it out a little bit, but DnS, he's got 5 Phoenix on the map, he's got vision everywhere, he's on double forge, getting the second Robo as well. There are big upgrades coming online for MilkiCow, like he did it in the opposite way to what we see Clem, went for the Armory first and then the Ghost Academy afterwards.
Yeah.
But it will allow him to get a good number of Vikings and Siege Tanks on the field early. And this is what we're seeing from a lot of Terrans these days, where they really hunker on down on the tank count. And against a lot of what DnS has, especially with these early disruptor switches coming online, it's not bad against that at all.
The disruptors will be such a cool way to obviously kind of just have that extra splash ready for the Protoss. But of course, that's what I was about to say. I was like, of course, we kind of need to see the later game setup in general, right? And that's going to be the Dark Shrine as well. So the harass setting up from DnS, 2 disruptors at a time, upgrades finishing. I like everything that's on the way from our Protoss player. 5th base as well, just before MilkiCow starts to get into his 4th. I love that MilkiCow's floating 1 CC over, but he's already building another CC next to where this 4th will be. So he's ready to stack up the bases, and ooh, DnS a little bit caught up in the game. Gets the 2nd Dark Shrine as well, unfortunately.
That is a little bit unfortunate, and I mean, it happens to the best of us, you know. It does. It's granted, it's not the most expensive thing in the world, but it just shows you that they're focused, they're hyper-focused, and it's like, I need a Dark Shrine now, and you think about it once, you think about it 10 seconds later as well. You just kind of forget that you just did it, because there's so much going on in StarCraft 2. It's so damn quick.
Yeah, it's very easy. Like, your brain just kind of flicks back to this idea, like, you're not sure, because you're right, so much is going on. There's a lot to look at. You can do a lot of things very quickly. It's super easy to forget. There's so many CCs. MilkiCow is not afraid just to drop the bases and just send this, is he? Like, to the later game. He's very ready just to say, yeah, I'm going to have all the bases in the world. I have loads of mules. And DnS is going to meet him there this time. Fleet Beacon, Stargates. I love the choice, because what MilkiCow is doing, I think, is best dealt with by just sitting back as the Protoss.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right here. And the Phoenix, I can't believe he's gunning in this deep, though. I mean, this is very much in MilkiCow territory, and Loses a lot of his units here. Loses all those Phoenix. Granted, their usefulness was definitely going to be less. This is very much a little guerrilla hit squad down here as well. No medevacs to keep it alive for a long time. So a simple warp in or a recall should be able to deal with that quite nicely.
Bring those units back home and just use that to defend. And spot on from DnS. Like I said, at this point, don't give MilkiCow options or opportunities, although this is kind of going to be one of those, right? He is moving through the center of the map. And as he comes across, it looks as though he's going to actually pull back down to the bottom and just clean up these zealots. DnS stops the carriers. This is the point at which he's weakest. He's built a fleet beacon, 2 more stargates. He's built the carriers, but they're not here yet. And even 2 carriers isn't super scary. This is absolutely the time for MilkiCow to go if he wants to do something pre-carriers. The problem is I don't think MilkiCow has the supply to go pre-carriers, and that means that he might be forced into this even later stage of the game. That's why I think DnS is going to find even more of a comfort zone, as DnS is the one chasing through here. Just chasing his opponent down. I mean, again, go a certain amount, but maybe don't go too far. I'm scared he's going to like dive in and it's just going to go completely wrong for him when it's looking so good for him back at home.
MilkiCow just isn't afraid of late game, man. Like, you can really tell by the way that he plays. It's not like he thinks he's on a clock at any point. He's just all about, okay, maneuver on up, get everything I need, get the upgrades going, multiple CCs and stuff. But I'm thinking right now, is he going to get caught totally off guard by this carrier switch? And DnS is proper gearing up for it as well. Like, if you're clicking these Protoss units and you get to see, like, oh, he's at 3-2, no way has he been investing in other stuff as well, right? I actually wouldn't reveal these carriers just yet, but he's going to do it. He's going to do it.
I think he should hold until like 4. At least 4. I think 2 carriers just don't do that much, and the bigger warning you give your opponent about them, the better a time they're going to have than they really should. And these zealots don't quite catch those ghosts. It's a good save from MilkiCow with the movement there. As we'll see zealots don't charge up, and they actually will get into the main base and the natural mineral lines. So, again, DnS able to cause trouble, able to cause chaos across the course of this.
Uh-oh,
Zealots even going to get...
over there.
Oh, that's rough. I was going to say, Zealots got the missile turret too, so opens up prison plane into that main again. Oh, these Zealots are just going huge on the natural, non-stop.
They really are, and there was a scan in the center somewhere, but I think it just missed those carriers, which was definitely crucial for DnS. And DnS, he's on double cybernetic score right now as well, Wardy. Like, that's huge for getting these upgrades out. Very big upgrades. Now he knows, and now it's like, oh dear, I need Vikings. Moving that factory on over for another starport. I'm not surprised with that one.
Yeah, more starports. I mean, at this point you want Vikings. Even libs to some extent, because you can actually leave the libs in siege sometimes and actually use them to fight off the interceptors can be quite effective at times. So opportunities, possibilities, we do have MilkiCow very ready to fight there. And that was not a tango DnS wanted to be a part of, so just gets shot back, loses a unit or 2 in the process. We're rich enough to afford that. Another disruptor shot flies through. DnS with every base on his side of the map. Resources lost currently even. And that's important to keep track of, because this is not the kind of map where one player is typically going to mine bases, the other guy doesn't, because it's pretty easy to hold all of the bases on your half of the map.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's a super symmetrical map here. There's only a certain amount of bases to go. DnS has literally got all the bases he can. Now we can pump everything into just more infrastructure, all about units, and the ECT is starting to make magic happen as well on the other side of the map, just being a real pest. And the army, as these carriers keep on mounting up, and it's just been 2 at a time, but we're starting to get to a point where we're at 8 now, Wardy, and that is very problematic.
It's just a very difficult army to fight against as MilkiCow, and DnS is obviously just sitting back on some of his side defense. Pops the super battery here, is now going to start moving forwards. Libera is going to be under fire, Colossi shooting up, like you mentioned, those interceptors are going to be flying through with 8 carriers. There's so much potential. There's the libs, though, and that's the splash damage on the interceptors that can help clean them out nice and quickly, and you can see those numbers dropping. DnS has to pull back away from that. Problem is for MilkiCow, so much of this fight was already very good for DnS. I wouldn't say that this was overall a failure. Having to fall back to rebuild interceptors is really a very okay thing to be doing.
Yeah, they're cheap, right? They're like, what, 15 minerals a pop? And the only thing that you have to worry about when you have the carriers is the time to rebuild the interceptors. And he's getting, look at these upgrades he's getting. We're talking about big tier 3 Protoss upgrades, and even getting tectonic stabilizers, going for level 2 Protoss shields as well. He's cooking, man. He is cooking. It's not as if MilkiCow's been lacking, though. Air upgrade's about to get to +3 weapons, +1 armor on the go as well. Actually, very important. It's just going to be very difficult for him to take a good fight against this. Like, these interceptors, these carriers are wild.
Yeah, they are just going to go straight through, and they are going to grab themselves a whole bunch of those libs, and they are, I mean, okay, interceptor count depleted once again, but there's not enough for MilkiCow to go chase that down and to punish that, so, like you said, you know, the problem with the interceptors is the time needed to build them, and DnS, because he's taking these fights on his own terms, is able to find that time. Okay, now we're just going to get a battery farm on the bottom side so we can basically camp out and push into this forward base of MilkiCow, which is very smart, right? Because that actually really allows you to dominate this base location. And that is one way in which MilkiCow may not be able to actually mine from every base on the map, although that's a nuke coming down as well. I'm going to tell you what, DnS is just jumping into this. He's going straight through. Interceptors are flying. A nuke might land, but it would only be on side defense at this point as we've got stuff flying up in the skies. The nuke is indeed going to drop down. It kills a cannon. And, well, DnS is already winning this fight on top of the high ground and knocking down this planetary fortress.
Yeah, DnS is the big hit on the playground, man. Look at his bank as well. Like, we haven't really touched up on that, have we? 4K, 3K. MilkiCow struggling to even keep this base alive. And there's not that many interceptors still rocking, but there's more than enough. The Liberators have been really good against them, to be fair, haven't they?
The Libs have actually been huge. They've been so successful. They've been able to knock down so many. And it's the only reason why, really, this army's getting pushed back again. MilkiCow cannot afford to rebuild everything that he realistically needs to, though, and I think that is going to be the trouble he ends up on. As 4 Libs, couple of Vikings, the Bioforce still coming through for MilkiCow, but he's just not going to have the bulk on the ground that he needs anymore, I don't think, to actually keep on taking fights. So, unfortunately, I think we're going to end up in trouble as Stalkers and Carriers will continue through. Disruptor Shot goes down on the ramp there. You're not going to have this army still trying to come about. A couple more Libs getting sieged for the moment. DnS is just getting further and deeper every single time he takes a fight. He's making more and more progress on the map, and that is a big deal at this stage.
It really is. He's got money to burn through. He's got big upgrades. It's a very mobile army as well. And these Liberators, look, like, what do you do with them? They are doing so much damage to these interceptors. It's really cool to see. But it's just everything else he has to worry about at the same time. And DTs again. GG, DnS. Tell you what, that was a fun TVP between them.
They played a hell of a series. MilkiCow, I feel like in this game, MilkiCow never